Hello students, in the previous class we have discussed about cell wall, and then we have also discussed about plasmolysis, and then we have also discussed about the activity, and through that activity we have learned plasmolysis. Now in today's class we are going to discuss about the certain topics. Now, so the next topic is nucleus. So in today's class we are going to discuss about nucleus, and then we are going to discuss about the different parts of the nucleus. And the nucleus have got four parts. Number one is the nuclear membrane, and then we have nucleoplasm, chromatin, and the last part is the nucleolus. So as you can see the diagram, you can see in the diagram these four parts are there. The outermost part, which you can see with the yellow color, is the nuclear membrane. Okay, and inside this gray color structure is there, jelly like structure is there, called as nucleoplasm, and then you can see some thread like structures inside this. They are called as chromatin, that is the third part, and then you can see a darkly stained region is there inside the nucleus, that is called as the nucleolus. So let us begin with the first part, that is the nuclear membrane. Okay, now before we start the nuclear membrane, let us recall what you have learnt about the nucleus. Now, nucleus is a organelle which is present only in the eukaryotic cell, and in the animal cell it is present in the center of the cell, and in the plant cell it is present away from the center. Okay, and you have already studied about the functions of the nucleus, that it is the control center of the cell, it controls the different activities of the cell. So nucleus is a very important organelle of the cell. Now let us discuss about the different parts of the nucleus. The first part is the nuclear membrane. Now as you can see in the diagram, the nucleus is covered by a membrane, and it is not a single membrane, it is double membrane bound structure. So nucleus is a double membrane bound structure, means it consists of two membranes, outer nuclear membrane and the inner nuclear membrane. As you can see the cursor I am pointing, this is the outer nuclear membrane and the inner nuclear membrane. Now at some places these nuclear membranes are actually separated, but at some places these nuclear membranes join together. So wherever they join, they form a small opening, and this opening you can see here, it is called as the nuclear pore. So why this nuclear pore is there? Nuclear pore helps the material to be transported between the cytoplasm and the nucleoplasm. So whatever the cytoplasm can transport or want to transport into the nucleoplasm, it transport through the nuclear pore, and whatever the nucleoplasm want to transport outside the nucleus, it transport through the nuclear pores. So these nuclear pores helps in transportation of substances between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So as you can see here, it is written here, the nucleus has a double layered covering called nuclear membrane. Already I have explained it to you, and you may find in some of the books they are together called as nuclear envelope. So both the membranes together called as nuclear envelope. So nuclear membrane has pores which allow the transfer of material from inside the nucleus to its outside and to the cytoplasm also. So there is a transport of substances between the nucleus and the cytoplasm with the help of the nuclear pores. Now let us move to the next part of the nucleus, that is the nucleoplasm. So what is nucleoplasm? Now I have already explained you what is the meaning of the word plasm. Plasm means substance. So the substance of the nucleus is called as nucleoplasm. Okay, now it is similar to the cytoplasm, means it is a jelly like structure which is similar to the cytoplasm, but it is more denser, means it is more thick than the cytoplasm. If cytoplasm is like water, then nucleoplasm is like honey. So you can see honey is more denser than the water. So like that, nucleoplasm is denser than the cytoplasm. Okay, the nucleoplasm contain nucleolus and chromatin. As you can see in the diagram, the nucleoplasm contains these thread-like structures called as chromatin, and it also contain a structure called as nucleolus. Now let us move to the next part, that is a very important part called as chromatin. Now what is chromatin? Now as you can see here in this diagram, the chromatin is a thread-like structure, and these thread-like structures are entangled. Now in your book the word entangled is given if you read your NCERT textbook. So entangled means twisted together. So these thread-like structures are twisted together to form a structure called as chromatin. So chromatin material is visible, as you can see here, as entangled mass or twisted thread-like structures. Now, these thread-like structures are only present when the cell is not dividing. So, whenever the cell is going to divide, these thread-like structure will change their structure. They will not remain as thread-like structure. They will change to something else. And what is that something else? This is called as the chromosome. As you can see in the diagram, you can see these thread-like structures which are twisted together or entangled, and they form a structure when the cell is going to divide, and that structure is called as chromosome. So you can see in a cell which is not dividing, this structure or the chromatin material is present as a part of the as chromatin material as thread like structures. Now what this chromatin is made up of? Now this chromatin is made up of DNA. Now what is DNA? That we will see in the next page. Okay, now whenever the cell is going to divide or it is about to divide, the chromatin material get condensed and they organized into rod shaped structures called as chromosomes. So the nucleus contain chromosomes only when the cell is going to divide. That you should remember all the time. That is a very important point. The chromatin is present all the time, and whenever the cell is going to divide, means the cell is going to form new cell, then the chromatin condenses to form chromosomes, which are rod shaped structures. Okay, now chromosomes contain information for inheritance of characteristics. So chromosome passes the information. You have already studied in class 8 that chromosomes can pass the information from one generation to the next generation. So they can pass the features from one generation to the next generation. And how they can pass? Because they contain DNA. So chromatin is made up of DNA, and that chromatin condenses to form chromosomes. So DNA is present in chromosomes, and these DNA, what is DNA? DNA full form is deoxyribonucleic acid. Now actually DNA stores the information. Now you must be wondering what type of information is stored in the DNA. Like suppose if you look at your structure and you look at the structure of your parents, you will be similar, or you may be similar to either of the parents or to both the parents. So maybe your hairstyle is similar to either of your mother or to your father. So from where you get that information? Through the DNA. So DNA has made your hair structure similar to either to your mother or to your father. Your eye color, your body design, your nails, your ears, all these different types of structure that we have in our body. These information we either get it from our father or from our mother. So from where, from how do we get that information? We get this information through the DNA. So DNA stores the information. Always remember that. Okay. So chromosomes. Now the chromatin is made up of DNA. Now when chromatin condenses, it requires certain proteins. So chromatin organized to form rod shaped structures called as chromosomes. So DNA plus protein both together form the chromosomes. So chromosomes are made up of DNA and protein. Okay, now DNA molecules contain the information necessary for constructing and organizing cells. Already I have told you that different types of informations are stored in the DNA. Now DNA contain information. Now where is the information stored in the DNA? DNA is a very long molecule, so it stores the information in certain parts, and those parts where the information is stored is called as gene. So that is why it is written here, functional segments of DNA are called genes. Now what do you mean by functional segments? Functional segments means the parts of the DNA which contains the information. All the part of the DNA does not contain the information. Only certain part of the DNA contains the information. Okay, like for example, if you have a shirt, now in the shirt you have a pocket where you store the things. You don't store the things everywhere in the shirt. Okay, or you have a pant, you store the things in the pockets. So pockets are the storage places of the pants, or the pockets are the storage places of your shirt. Like that, DNA has a storage place, and that storage place or the pocket of the DNA can be called as gene. So gene is a functional segment of the DNA which stores information, and that information can be passed from one generation to the another generation through the chromosomes. And when the chromosomes are formed, only when the cell is going to divide. And in what form the chromosomes or DNA remains when the cell is not dividing? It remains in the form of thread-like structures called as chromatin. So chromatin are thread-like structures, and chromosomes are rod-like structures. Okay, so you see the next clip is there. You can see the next photo. In this photo, you can see a proper shape of the chromosome. So you can see from how thread-like structures the chromatin changes to chromosomes, and the chromosomes contain DNA as well as protein. Okay, now let us move to the next part, and that is the last part of the nucleus, that is the nucleolus. Now many of the students don't write the correct spelling of nucleolus, so you should know and learn the spelling of nucleolus. So nucleolus is singular and nucleoli is plural. Okay, so nucleoli are spherical structures present in the nucleoplasm. As you can see in this diagram, they are spherical structures present in the nucleoplasm, and the content of the nucleolus is continuous with the rest of the nucleoplasm. Now what does this mean? Means it does not have any membrane around it. It does not have any separate boundary around it. It is continuous with the nucleoplasm, and it is a structure which is for responsible for the formation of ribosomal RNA. Okay, so it is a site for active ribosomal RNA synthesis. So what is RNA? It is similar to the DNA. Now DNA is a deoxyribonucleic acid, RNA is ribonucleic acid, and they both are nucleic acids present in the nucleolus, and it is involved in various metabolic processes inside our body. So the nucleolus is a spherical structure, and it is not membrane bound, it is not covered by a membrane. The structure of the nucleus is continuous with the nucleoplasm, and it is responsible for the formation of the RNA. Now about the nucleolus is not given in your NCERT, so I have added this extra information so that you should know all the things about the nucleus. So what are the things about the nucleus we have learned today? Let us recall quickly. So we have studied about the different parts of the nucleus. Now nucleus is a structure which is present in the eukaryotic cell. We have studied about that nucleus contain nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, and chromatin, and the nucleolus. Okay, I hope you have understood this topic. So complete your notes and keep writing your notes, and I will check your notes when your school will reopen. Thank you, students.